Vincenzo's Gold Crypto Investing this June the 19th, 2025 daily cryptocurrency, blockchain technology, gold and silver video noontime update that you've come to expect, love, need, and deserve. Bell notification, comment down below, like the channel, and share to get that truth, trust, education, and information that you need with a channel that's there for you, the retail trader and investor. And the broader markets are closed today. The commodity markets are open, but in the United States, the Dow Jones, NASDAQ, and the major industries are closed. The cryptocurrency obviously is open, along with the world commodity markets are open today, right? But there is a federal holiday today. So you can see the Bitcoin price, what we've been on, is it's still sitting just above, and it's been trading sideways along and down, trading outside after it had that double bottom, as you can see right here. This double bottom right there. Yes, that double bottom right here. Yes, this double bottom right there that we were talking about when the price was way back in here, topping out the first time in the wintertime. We had this $74,000 as our major target. And then you can see we actually double bottomed off of it and then started this rising channel that we've been in, where we've had our overhead resistance uptrending, our underneath support uptrending, and that is a rising channel, which are bullish continuation patterns, but they're usually bearish. And eventually they got to break out of them, and then they end up actually coming down after, right? But this one actually did last for a very long time. But you can see where we're at now is the same area that we've been getting supported on the last 4 or 5 days. 1, 2, 3, and again right here. And notice what we have there. If we were in the daily time frame, this is right where the 50-day short-term moving average is, right? Then you got the 100-day moving average, the first major support horizontal from left to right. And then you got your major support level, the 200-day moving average, that if you're below that, you get extremely bearish and would probably head back down to that 74,000 down there, right there, right? But that's for a few more days down the line if this continues to trade down. But right now, what I'd be watching out for on this holiday is right now, are you, after you came down and you bottomed twice, is this going to be your bottom and then you start to rocket back up? Sort of like what you've done. Oops, let's get rid of that. Delete that. Delete that. Sort of like how you did here, where you came down, formed your bottom, traded, and then shot back up before you got rejected? Or are you finally going to split this, and this double bottom here, you got the return rally, and then it failed. It's going to slip it and actually move to the next leg to the downside, which the next leg to the downside would be coming down here to the 200-day, to the 100-day moving average, my correction, in the daily time frame. So that's what we're watching out for today. Do we slip this 103,024.59? If we do, that would make you drive down straight to the 98,819.26. And ultimately, if you slip that 50-day, you would come back down here to this major horizontal left to right underneath support, right? If we're moving along to the XLM price, you can see in this chart in the XLM price, and this isn't our normal chart, but you can see here we have the weekly time frame moving averages, the 50, the 100, and the 200, with the normal colors red, blue, green respectively. And then look at where we're at. We got rejected up here. Let's clone that. We got rejected off of a breakout attempt over here, and we'll make that in green. We got rejected up there at about 61 cents back in late November and December with the Donald Trump failed breakout. And if we zoom out to the weekly time frame, you can see the breakout that we're talking about is this pattern here, where we've had a clone and then we've had a clone. You can see we've been in this pattern since 2018. 97 cents got rejected. 2021 COVID, about 80 cents got rejected. And now recently with the Donald Trump induced hysteria, oops, I moved that on accident. The Donald Trump induced hysteria, you can see we got rejected at 61 cents, but underneath it's the same thing. And let's clone that, and let's clone that, and let's clone that. Underneath it is the same thing. You can see if we grab that, we got rejected right here at about the 90 cents, or supported. Then we got supported again. Here, we'll make that one come over here. We got supported again about the 68 cents, right? And then we got supported again back here at about the 0.02 2 cents, right? So we've gotten supported and resisted. The same thing that happened down here on this one. You can see resistance, resistance, and then your uptrending support and then the breakout. We had that failed breakout attempt, and what the pattern would show is we should come back down to around that 16 to 20 cent uptrending level on the way down before we get supported, unless it broke down out of this pattern, which I don't suspect. And if it did, that would be a hellacious dump, because if it was a pattern breakdown out of here, your technical move is the bottom of the pattern, which would be all the way down here to 0.02, something we haven't hit since the crash of the bear market of 2018 and 19 before the COVID-induced rally. But what I would expect here, based on what the pattern is, and we still do have some time left in it, I think we're going to come down and hit this major support level, and then we're going to come back up here, and this is going to be when you decide on the next return. Are we going to actually break out, which would be a good time because we would have a short mid-ground consolidation after retesting and then break out. And a target on a breakout, I would be targeting somewhere between $1 and $1.75 for next year and going into 2027 if it did break out of this, right? So that's what I'm looking at. And you can see right where we're sitting at is when you're above the 50-day and the weekly time frame, you're bullish. See this? When you're above it, you're extremely bullish in price discovery, going towards price discovery. And then again, now trying to break out. And when you're below it, you're bearish and you're trending down, right? But that's where we're looking at right now. But that pattern has confluency with our other chart, which I like to see with those weekly time frame moving averages, that when we look at our track with the rest of our indicators, you can see it brings us down into an area that has confluency with the 18 cents on the 200-day moving average in the daily time frame, and something that we've been facilitating and talking about with the first mover advantage since just after the 63-cent high. But when you see it with that other chart, it makes even more sense together. And then looking at our track in the background has caught this beautifully, and now we're at the decision point where the moving averages in the daily time frame are trending down. We've had freshly bearish crosses. If the price continues to stay suppressed, the 100-day moving average now is going to have a bearish cross, and it is going to get below the 200-day moving average or the long-term moving average. You can see that right there, how that's going to collide. And then the short term would be on the bottom, the medium term would be in the middle, and the long term would be on the top, which is as bearish as you can get. And that would signify that the price for a very long time, months and months and months, has been bearish. And that would be the case here ever since January. And now we're about 6 months later. We've had a 6-month bear trend, right? And that's how those moving averages go. But if this goes to how I think, just like with XRP that we're going to talk about, if we do dip down to here, we're going to have a ferocious rally back up into here very quickly. And I think these are going to be great buying opportunities if you are lucky enough to get at 18 cents. And if you're even more fortunate to get in and around that 13.5 to 14.5 cents there, I think it's going to be a very brief buying opportunity. But if you haven't bought, I'm not a financial advisor, nor do I tell you to buy or accumulate this, but I will definitely be adding to my bag. I've sold some of my bag on the way up when we got on the way up on this. Same with the XRP, but I kept a big amount, and I'm going to add back into my bag as this comes back down into 18 and 14 cents. The 14 would be a mass accumulation for my own personal self, and 18 cents I will nibble a few thousand shares back in, seeing as we were at 63 cents, and now we would be seeing an 18 cent, and that would be something I would have to buy, at least start to nibble back in. But 14 cents I would buy a lot more. The XRP is the same thing. If we look out into the daily time frame, you can see we've been in this head and shoulders topping out reversal pattern for quite some time, and we've been on top of that and staying out ahead of this. We can get that. Yes. No, that's not what I wanted. We'll get that off later. But we've been talking about this for quite some time. We've laid it out here. This is no shock or surprise to anybody in this audience, members of Jabroni Killers or just subscribers, that we've been in this bear trend, that we've been in a 5.5 month essentially consolidation to the downside, or you could say a mid-ground bear market, right? Because we were at $3.40 in January, and now we're sitting at $2.15, and we've been as low as $1.61, and we've been trading essentially sideways for 2.5 to 3 months. We drew out this pattern, had a left shoulder, head, but we were up here. Remember, we were in this circle, so none of this was here. That wasn't here. This big dump right there. It didn't happen yet. This was all the future, and you can see how it wrote it out beautifully. Now it's an elongated right shoulder, and this is either going to pop way to the upside up near $4 or $5 quick, or we're going to fulfill this targeted move first, which I still believe and I've been emphasizing and talking about in a possible super accumulation zone, where we come down to that technical target and then potentially come down in a wick fashion even lower, maybe down to the 85 cents, which is plausible, but I don't think so. I think it's more likely that we hit $1.29. It's still possible that we come back below $1 briefly, and if it does, you max accumulate anything below $1, but you should be accumulating if you came all the way back, and we're fortunate enough that we actually did hit that technical target, because then I feel like mid-late summer going into the early part in 2026, there's going to be a bottoming out no matter where the bottom is. Is it $1.29? Is it $1.55? Is it 69 cents? Is it 34 cents? Right? Where is the bottom? And then I feel there's going to be a ferocious rally going into 2026 through mid-late 2026 and having the blow off top somewhere near the end of 2026 or the beginning of 2027, where we could be $5 or $6 or $7 in the XRP price going into 2027 and 2028, right? So we're going to be paying attention to that. There's a lot of activity and a lot of excitement going on. Like the channel, get these accumulation zones, join the Brony Killers to help me keep these videos coming for you, the retail trader and investor, once a day, every day. Peace and love, the Rex Eyebrow J.